Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much to all of you who have been watching my channel and watching my videos and letting me know that you like them. It's a great encouragement, and I really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to be using the new Poolside Paradise paper pack, embellishments, and stickers to show you a couple of different ideas. One is actually a page idea using a border kind of at the top, just kind of an improvised little thing. And then I'll show you two other borders that you can add to other pages. Okay, so let's get started. And here we go. So here is the page that I wanted to show you. This is actually the same piece of paper that I have just kind of welded back together. So this paper had this border on the top, and it actually has it all the way down the sides and all the way around. But I cut it in pieces to kind of make this really fun little pool type look, party pool. I love these embellishments right here for your actual photos. So this can actually be used for several photos down here. You can add other embellishments up here if you'd like, or you could even take this, cut it down further, and then you can add photos in here because this would be down a lot further from this background right here. But this is just kind of how I left it. Now, I just want to show you by doing this, this piece down here may not match up exactly from where you cut it. Let me kind of show you. So see how I've got a little bit of it still left over down here. It may not match what it was cut from because it's actually from the other side. So you have to move it down just a tiny bit to get it to fit. So it makes it just shy of the full 12-inch size. It's okay. Most people are not even going to notice that it doesn't exactly fit on your page. Just kind of center it on there, and you would just have a tiny bit from the top and a tiny bit from the bottom, and it'll be fine. So then I also had a couple of other borders that I did. This one is really simple. This one, I just cut this piece using the Bubble Scallop border punch. And I added it to this piece. Here, I guess I can show you the paper pack. Here's the paper pack. So it's got a lot of really fun pool or lake, beach type papers that you can use. The stickers, some of them refer to pools, but others refer to just jumping in and making a splash and that kind of stuff. So like this one, I used this sticker just floating around. We just got back from our yearly trip to Colorado River out in Laughlin, Nevada. And we used a lot of floaties and stuff like that. So this is going to be just perfect for that. My granddaughter wasn't too sure of the water. She's just turned 2. So she didn't remember going last year. And what she really liked was splashing her hands in the water and seeing all the bubbles. So this is going to be a really fun border for her page. This one is actually, let me just tell you the dimensions. I cut this piece, and then because this paper is a wavy type paper, this is the piece, I just followed the cut line on here and just cut it by hand. I just fussy cut it. And then I added it to this block piece, and I absolutely love this block piece. It is just, I don't know, the colors just stand out to me. Isn't this pretty? I love this piece. So I really tried to use it a lot on here. So then I just adhered it to this and then moved, just adhered it to the blocks, and then just fussy cut just a small, probably a 1/16 of an inch all the way across. And then I took this paper This one's very similar to the one that I made the page with, where it's got the concrete all the way around pool water. And I was playing here, I may use this piece again later. This is on the back side. So I might use it today, depending on what I do. But I really liked this piece. And so I just adhered it to the bottom of this piece. So it still showed a little of the pool water, and then added stickers. So this one was pretty easy. The base, this piece right here is 2 inches. So I just adhered this, kind of centered it down the middle. So let's see, put this back on here. This was actually the first one I made. So I punched the bubble scallop, and then I put it on a piece of navy paper and just fussy cut around it so that the dark blue showed through the bubbles, so this showed up better. Then I took that piece of paper that has those blocks on it and I just cut pieces out of it. So I just stuck them in the top and the bottom on here. And so then I put it on the back side of the blocks. I put it on this piece of paper. And then I added just another color. We have bubble paper, and this was on the back. So I just added just a little bit of contrasting color to make this border piece stand out, and then added some stickers. And these are on the thin foam squares that were out briefly. They were a limited edition. So that's that border. And I really like this one. So this piece right here is 2¼ this beige piece, and then this piece is 2½. So it's on the back side of the bubbles is 2½. So then I just centered this on there and added the blocks to give it some different color. So you guys are gonna have to let me know which ones you like best. So today I want to show you how to do this page, because it is the most difficult of the 3 that I did. So I'm going to need this paper, I'm going to need this paper, and then I'm going to need this paper. And I got the embellishments out of the embellishment pack. I think I'm going to use these today, so I'm going to set these off to the side. But it has several different pieces of embellishments in this pack. They're separated per size. There's some bubbles here. They're about 6 inches long. And then there's some really fun circle type things. I love this. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it. Probably just to frame a photo, but it's got like lights on it, and it's just a circle. So I love these embellishments. And then you could use stickers. So these are the various stickers that come in the sticker pack. Lots of really fun stuff. So we'll see what I end up using today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to fussy cut a piece out of here. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to follow the line right down here and just cut this. And I'm just going to try to stay kind of in the center of that line. It's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be, because it's going to be mounted on other things and no one's going to really know that I didn't cut it perfectly down the center or too close to the water color. It's going to be fine. I really like to take this type of paper where it's already got a pattern on it and just kind of fussy cut it out, because it adds just a little bit of different dimension to your border or to your page. And then you get a lot more uses out of it as well. Okay, so there's that piece. I just fussy cut it. This side was already cut from the other borders that I was doing. So now what I want to do is I want to put it on here. And since this is already cut, I may want to, that matches up really pretty close. So I can leave it as is, or I can just take another piece to see this is straight across the top. And it's kind of like the edge of the pool. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to cut this, leaving a little bit that's going to be able to be seen. Kind of just eyeball it here to make sure it's about the same width. And now I'm just going to take a pen and draw on the back side, or a pencil, because you're not going to see this side of the paper. Now I turned over the piece that I wanted to use that I just cut. So when I cut it and turn it back over, it's going to be the same pattern. It's not going to be off. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this along that line. And guys, it really doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's close enough, it's going to work just fine. Some of you will probably be able to cut things faster than me. I'm a little slow when I'm trying to follow a line. Okay. So this is the side I want, and this is what the side I want to put on here. Okay, so it's probably this side right here. Okay, so see how it's fairly close, and I can just leave it a little bit like that. Okay, and it's just cut really close. So now I'm going to add some adhesive. And I'm just going to put it about 1/16 of an inch up. Okay, and I did this a little different. This one is actually on this paper. This one is on this paper, but actually it may give us a little more wiggle room when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to take this off here. And I'm going to cut this right along the line here. So I'm going to leave this little bit of the brownish or the beige, and I'm going to cut it right down the middle between these two lines right here. Now to do that, see, I want to make sure that this is going to be upright. Okay. I'm just going to put it in the trimmer. It's about an inch, but to make sure it's going to cut right there, I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to make sure it cuts right on that line right here. And I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. Okay, I'm pulling this little piece up out of the edge and I want to make sure it's right on that line. Okay. Okay, so I've taken this piece off. Now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to cut a piece off of it. Let's see. This was about, I believe, 4 inches. So I put this here, measure. No, it's about 3 inches. Okay. So I'm going to put this on top of it. I'm going to move my piece. There it is. Okay, so if I line this up and put this about the 3 inches, it'll be about there. It'll give me about the same here. And if I cut it at 3, this will show through. And it'll give me about that space because this is what I'm looking for. I don't want tons of space up here on the top. So if I cut that at 3, actually, if I cut it a little smaller, I can overlap this to get the size I want. Okay. Okay, that's the piece I just cut. I'm going to cut this just under 3. And by doing it this way, making a little bit of a change on how I did the first one, this is going to make this probably the full 12 inches. So let's see. If I put this back on here, and I put this back on here, line this up on the bottom. Yes, it's going to make it the full 12 inches. And then I can put this right here. Cool. Okay, that's going to work good. All right, so now I'm going to turn these over and I'm going to weld these together. Now, there's a few different ways that you can weld. Okay, you can take just a plain piece of scratch paper and doesn't look like I have a scratch piece that I can cut. So you can also do this with some tape chips, and you've probably seen me do this before. I like using the tape chips to put the pieces back together because then when I actually put it on my pages, it gives me a lot more adhesive to help hold it down. The other way to do that is with the photo tape. And the photo tape is a lot faster. So it's a double-sided piece of tape that I'm just going to put here. Right down the center right there. Okay, now I'm going to do it from the other side. Make sure it's pushed all the way down against the piece of paper that you cut it from. Okay, and now I need one more little piece right in here. This helps it from bubbling up in the middle when you actually put it on your page. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this piece down here. Line up the edges as perfect as you can. Okay, and then make sure that it stays together. Okay, and now put one more little piece in the middle there. Okay, and then you've got your page put back together. Now I'm going to put this border piece on it. And it's going to be just below that seam to cover that up. Okay, and then this piece up here was kind of the awning that's covering up the background. I'm pretending. Where's my adhesive? There it is. Okay. Just little pieces. You don't need tons to hold it together. And I'm going to make sure this is the same distance from the top on both sides. Making sure that it's covering that seam. Okay, so now we've got that on there. Now all we need to do is add some embellishments like this. We can put these chairs on here and put this all the way across. And we can take that other piece. Where did I put it? There it is. Add the adhesive. And a little bit of repositionable. And I put this all the way at the top of the corner here. There's that side. And there's that side. Okay, there we go. You can add your foam squares if you would like. Most of the time I'm a little lazy and I just tend not to put the foam squares on it. And there's your page. And doing it this way, it gives it the full 12 inches. Isn't that cool? Let me know what you guys think, because I really like this page. Let's put some photos on here. Let's see what this is going to do. Here's a 6x4. Here's a 6x4. And your photos can overlap a little bit, and lots of times you're not going to keep them the same full width. You'll trim them down to focus on what you really wanted to take the photo of to begin with. And then you can just add in a few others. Let's see. We can stick a 4x4 in here. And then let's see, 4x3. And then that gives you room for your journaling, okay? The most important part of your scrapbook pages are your photos and your journaling, for you to put just who, what, when, where the photos were, because I don't know about you, but after several years, I don't really remember where I may have been, if it's kind of a combination page, or who may have been in the photos, if it's somebody I haven't seen for quite a while. So it's really, really important to have your photos and your journaling box. Just handwrite something in there, handwrite around your photos, whatever you'd like. You can put some journaling in here if you'd like, but definitely, definitely put your who, what, when, where on your pages. Okay. All right. So I think I'm just going to show you real quick how I did one of the other smaller borders. We can do this one again. Okay. So we're going to use the punch, and I need to trim the edge off of this so that I can get a full straight edge for this punch. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off a straight piece. Okay, and here's the Bubble Scallop punch. This is so fun. I can see it being used multiple ways. And I do believe there's been other people who have put out on their YouTubes or their Instagram pages how to use this punch for various things, okay? So I'm gonna put my paper in here. I'm gonna line it up with this black line because I'm gonna be moving my paper to the right. So I'm gonna stick it in here, line my paper up on that line, and punch. Now I'm going to move my paper over, and I'm going to cover up all of this blue with the pattern that I just punched. And you can find it. It's really easy on this one to show how you did that. So see here, I've covered up all the blue with what I've already punched. So now I know with the paper pushed up the back that it's going to punch exactly where I need it to. And you just do that all the way across. And if you go too far, you'll know. Okay, so that is punched all the way across right there. I'm going to take these out of here. Throw these pieces away because these can actually be reused. You can turn them over and put them in the circles that you just punched. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this line. Now this may be a little bit bigger than this one because where it was punched before, it was actually closer to that line. So I'm going to punch this out a little bit further, or just cut it out. So I'm just going to follow this line right here. Okay, and that piece is punched. Now, what I think I'm going to do is, where's that piece? Okay. So see how I had already punched this piece out? I'm going to use the back side just to see what it looks like, to just add a little bit of extra color on here so this shows up good. And I can actually just cut this off straight because I'm not going to use this part on the bottom. So gonna trim this off about there. Maybe a little more. Okay, so this is going to be about 1.5 inches. Yeah, that's going to work. So I'm going to stick some adhesive on here. And add a little bit of adhesive down here. Not over the bubbles. To make sure the bottom will stay stuck. Now I'm just going to offset this just a little bit so the color shows through. And it'll add a little bit of dimension, and you can see it a little easier than it just being straight on there. Okay, now let's see. Do I have a piece that is going to match the bottom here? No, not really. I could use that. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this to that piece, and then I'll just kind of fix it. Because this side came close. So if I put this here, I'll be able to fix it by just fussy cutting around it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut like 1/16 of an inch around. I'm just eyeballing it, guys. You can just kind of do the same thing if you'd like, or you can take a piece of the paper and do what I did by turning it over and marking it to where it would match the pattern a little better without having to do as much fussy cutting. So you can kind of improvise, or you can measure things however you would like to do it, whatever's easier for you. Okay, so see how there's not a whole lot of it showing through, but I just trimmed it up just to match that pattern. Now, I need to cut this off straight. And this is up too high. So, okay, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to redo this. Okay, because I want it to be about here. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what I did was I went ahead and cut off this extra piece because I wanted it to be up higher on these blocks. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim this just straight down the middle. And again, I'm going to use these little side pieces to make sure it's going as close down the middle as I would like. And I'll cut this off. Okay, now this piece can then again be used for another border. And this extra piece that I trimmed off could also be used for another border. So hang on to these extra pieces. Okay, now I'm going to take the bottom of this and I'm going to put this on here. Kind of like this. And then I'm going to trim this. Let's see, where do I want to trim this at? Let's measure it. Because this was lower than this one was. This one was cut up higher. So the dimensions on this one are a little different. So if I put this down here so I can see some of the concrete, then I'm going to want to trim it so we can see the pool water. That'll come across about right there. And I think that'll be enough. So this is going to be 2.5 inches. Okay, so I cut off the bottom piece of that. And now I will adhere this to this piece. And then all we need to do is add, I think I'm almost out of this tape here. So let's see how far this goes. We'll just add some stickers or embellishments. Yeah, that one's empty. I'll have to refill that one. Okay, I'm going to kind of just center this on here. Eyeball it all the way across. And I just put that on upside down. Okay, you guys were probably yelling at me, Deanne, it's upside down. Turn it around. Okay, there we go. Is that better? Now it's right side up. Okay, so let's see. What stickers or embellishments can we put on here? Okay, let's see. We have Splashing Good Time, Pool Hair Don't Care. I kind of like that one. Okay, and I am going to use some foam squares, if I can find them. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to put this one on here. And one of these over here. And one of these up here. And I'm going to center this on here. Add my Pool Hair Don't Care. And there we go. The border is done. Okay, so let me know what you think. We've got these various borders. Looks a little different each way you do it. I really kind of like this one. I really think this is really a fun way to cut the squares apart. and then just add them on the top and the bottom. I think that's pretty cool. And then we have our pages. Okay, so here's the original. And here's the one we did today. So let me know what you guys think. Okay, and we're all done for today. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. I do have a Monday night Zoom class. So if you would like to join that Zoom class or just get the videos when we have them done, I usually email them out once we're done with the videos, and I can add you to that list, and you'll get different ideas than usually what I do on here. Usually they're page ideas that I've got from various different places. But if you'd like to join that group, just let me know and I will add you. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.